podcast where two bearded film fans, me and this guy, watch the best horror movies ever and talk about them. We've got beards. My name's Luke Condor with Kate, and I'm joined by...
I'm Ben Aronson. Sorry, you threw me off with you just ad-libbing the intro.
Yeah, well, I ad-lib most of the show. I quite routinely go off script, usually around the 1 minute mark.
Only after the whole first minute is to the point. It's professional. Yeah, exactly. You threw me off. What did you say? You said me and this guy.
Well, it's true, isn't it? You are a D, and I am a he. Yeah, man. How are you? Wearing a hat.
I'm
You've
alright.
got some bad juju going off in the stomach department.
Yeah, I've got a bit of the old acid reflux, aka heartburn, depending on what you want to call. Oh yeah, just bothersome. Yeah. You told me to go and have a swig of milk, which I just did. So if I vomit milk at some point, but I've got a lovely hot bovril. No, it's tea. To hopefully make it worse. No, it's just tea.
I've not got any tea. I ran out of hot bovril.
Have you ever had bovril? It's just gravy, right? Watery gravy, beef tea.
I don't think it's necessarily gravy, but I've never had it, so I don't know.
Like if someone poured a mug of bovril on your roast dinner, you'd be pissed off, yeah?
I think I'd be alright with that, because I think it is enough. It's gravy enough. I mean, it's all gravy, baby.
Well, it was gravy enough. I mean, that's as happy. I'm happy with it.
Exactly, yeah.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, man. What have you been up to today?
Just been working, anticipating this, recording this lovely episode.
Yeah.
What else? That's it, really. I've just been out having a lovely sit down all day, which is just my job.
Yeah.
Professional sitter.
Professional sit down. Yeah.
Having a sit down. What about you?
Yeah, the same. I'm also a professional sit down or a shit.
You're also shit downer.
Yeah,
You're
do that as well.
Coming to Bristol next week to do a bit of sit downing.
I am. Yeah, come to Bristol next week. I don't know if we might try and do a show with us both in the same room together. I don't know if that's a good thing.
Yeah, maybe.
Or a bad thing. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see if this works. If not, what I might do is I might Skype you while you're in like a different room.
Yeah, okay. I'll sit in the kitchen.
Just to maintain. Yeah, just to maintain the originality. Just to maintain the standards of the show.
If I can just frame your body off in some like a cardboard.
Yeah, like a box.
Yeah.
If
you could sit inside this box, mate. Thanks. Okay.
It will be good.
So, news. Have you got any?
Have you got any? Because the way you said it was if you had any.
On my notes here it says news. And then not much beneath that.
That's not news, is it? Got a few things that I've seen earlier. Mainly it's just like news about films that are coming out and people just going, oh, it might be a bit like this. Other than that, I don't know if there's been any major news dropping. Don't think we've had any trailers this week for anything particularly huge.
Any minor news nuggets?
Any minor news? So Bong Joon-ho, he said his next film is going to mix action and horror. So he's just done Parasite, which is doing pretty well. Loads of people are loving it.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
No.
No. So obviously he did Snowpiercer, Okja, Mother, and obviously The Host, which was his one and only horror movie.
First, or is that someone else?
No, I think that's Park Chan-wook. Is it not? So he said he's preparing two different projects. One's a Korean language one, the other is an English language one. Both projects are not big films.
Okay.
And so basically, I think the latter, the first one, the Korean film, located in Seoul. Is that how you say it? Seoul.
I think it's just
Seoul. Has different elements of horror and action. It's difficult to define the genre of my films. So yeah, that's it. He's gone. It's probably going to be a bit of a horror film. How does that make you feel? Have you seen The Host? Do you like The Host?
I like The Host. I think it's a bit long in the tooth for me.
Yeah.
I really like Snowpiercer. I can see why people might not think it's a perfect film, but I kind of love that kind of dystopian idea on train aspects, and it's brutal and fun and weird. And Tilda Swinton does that sort of Mancunian factory job worker face woman, which is fantastic. What was your one? So Okja, I've not seen yet. Okja.
Mother, I've seen that.
I don't think I've seen that one.
That's a Korean language one.
Yeah.
That should be pretty cool. Another thing to potentially muse over, which again we don't really know anything about. That was pretty much nothing news. There is a film that will be coming out sometime soon, which might be like this. There's another piece of news like that. So Fede Alvarez and his Evil / Breathe writing partner Rodo Saguiguez,
right?
Butchered that. Sorry. They've closed a deal with Legendary Pictures to make a film producing a reboot of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre for Legendary.
Really? I don't know how I feel about
Really?
it. I don't know.
And they're also on board for an untitled horror film with an intriguing premise. Plot details are being kept under wraps, but the picture is described as The Shining, set in the White House.
That sounds kind of fun. But the other one, what was it? Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So Fede Alvarez, I love the Evil Dead remake, so I'm kind of like thinking, well, okay, if he can do that again, but in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I'd kind of be up for it. But at the same time, do we need a Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake? I don't know. I just don't know.
I have lost count of how many there have been. There was a film just called Leatherface, was there not? Fairly recently?
That's
like
fairly recent,
2 years ago?
Yeah.
Which I think bombed. Had a big old bomb out of Bab.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then finally, another piece of news got. So Patrick Wilson talking about The Conjuring 3.
Ooh.
He says this film is going to be an entirely different beast to the films that have come before it. He says it's a very much different feel. It's still the same bones, but it's very much Ed and Lorraine. Again, we'll be pushing our characters to places they haven't gone, but the film will be a really nice addition because it's definitely a different beast. Pun intended.
I like Patrick Wilson. I've got a lot of time with Patrick Wilson, but I've got a feeling The Conjuring 3 is going to be kind of similar to The Conjuring 1 and 2. I don't know how different it's going to be, Patrick. But
yeah, he's like, it's a different beast. Basically, it's just a family drama. Me and Vera Farmiga just going about our daily life, but we start falling out of love with each other. It's just a family drama about how it affects the families around us and our family members.
Like a Kent Loach film.
Is there any bloody ghosts in it or what?
That's what I want to know. I'm up for that. I think after The Conjuring 3 is done, I've got a feeling the haunted house spookathon genre might be showing its age a bit, like looking a bit creaky now. So it'd be interesting to see what sort of the next big budget horror movie sort of craze is going to be. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty crap at predicting any of these things, you know, about what the next big thing is gonna be, because we've done zombies.
Yeah,
I reckon slasher might get a resurgence.
I was thinking slasher because it's the remake. They're redoing Scream, I think. Did you say?
Yeah. Well, it's coming up. So
Halloween's big
in another 6 or so years. It'll be 20, not 20 years. No, yeah, it's already gone 20 years since Scream. So.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Also, Nightmare on Elm Street. I kind of feel that might be due. If they could do that right, I don't know, because it's pretty scary. But then I said the same thing about Pennywise. I didn't find him that scary, but they managed to sort of find a really interesting way of doing him. So I'd be up to seeing a Nightmare on Elm Street remake. Dream Warriors.
Yeah, it's again another one of those things I can't see being like really, really huge. You know what I mean? I think like Pennywise was good because it came at a time when an audience
the clowns were like clowns.
Yeah, it was only a few years after that clown stuff, and people were sort of at an age where they didn't really remember the miniseries, I guess.
It's weird because there's a conflict as well, because Stephen King seemed to be hitting a bit of a zeitgeist thing again as well, which he's still sort of riding. So there was the clowns, the Stranger Things. Yeah, I think it was all coming at the same time. Clowns, Stranger Things for the 80s sort of stuff, and also the Stephen King-a-thon, and it just kind of hit every single, and had all the spooky movie stuff as well, the spooky house stuff. Yeah, it hit all the points.
I kind of thought, so I was reading earlier that apparently Sleepy Hollow is turning 20 this year. It's 20 years since Sleepy Hollow came out in 1999. I like a gothic horror as well, you know. I do like a gothic horror.
I like Sleepy
Hollow.
Like
this, Crimson Peak, Woman in Black. They're all pretty.
Yeah.
They're all pretty good, and I'm pretty sure Sleepy Hollow is Tim Burton, so it would be nice to see another Tim Burton horror, you know, because I mean, genuine horror, you know, not a family movie or a. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll do that, but there must be a new Tim Burton. They must have another one on the rise. Get that other one on the rise. The other Tim Burton.
Jim Burton, come on, come and make a lovely. I mean, Sleepy Hollow was was great because I think it was Johnny Depp at the peak of his powers, almost maybe. Danny Elfman's score
at the peak of his powers. Who else was at the peak of his powers? Tim Burton was at the peak of his powers at that point as well.
Yeah, Tim Burton was at the peak of his powers. Paul Paulson was the peak of his powers. No, that's not a person. Also, Christopher Walken in that, pretty terrifying with his sharp teeth and his horrible eyes as the headless horseman.
The tree full of heads. That's a cool
Tree
film.
full of heads.
I like that film.
Wait a minute, I'll tell you who else. What's his wife's name? Tim Burton's wife. Escaping me.
Helena Bonham Carter.
Helena Bonham Carter. She's in it. Do you know what? This is a good suggestion for a future episode because I don't think we haven't done Crimson Peak. We haven't done Sleepy Hollow. We haven't really done any gothic horrors apart from like Guillermo del Toro things, I guess.
Yeah.
It would be nice to poke our finger into the tree full of squishy heads.
Yeah. Okay, man. Yeah, I'm up for that. I'm definitely up for that. But
Lovely.
Is that all
Noted.
the news?
That's what the news I got, mate. Got any news for me?
No. But I didn't even watch that much. I've still been playing my game, Death Stranding, but and it's good. But I finished reading a book called Entropy in Bloom by Jeremy Robert Johnson. I lent you a Jeremy Robert Johnson book a while ago called In This River. Hey, I can pick that up when I come down to Bristol.
You can pick that up tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow next week. Yeah, exactly. I'll hunt it down for you.
So this
I suppose you deserve it.
Thanks. Entropy in Bloom is a short story collection with a novella in there. It kind of does a bit of everything in terms of like the genres it hits, but it's just very well done. I just kind of feel like you kind of read it and understand that he's a great writer. Like he's just very purposeful. Like the prose just feels very sort of on point. There's a few great little stories in there, so I'd recommend it. I'm trying to think of any sort of particular standout ones. I mean, there was one that was the longest one, the novella, which is called The Sleep of Judges, which was about a guy who comes home from a family party and finds that his house has been broken into. So he becomes incredibly paranoid. He sends his kid and his wife away. Incredibly paranoid that people are going to come back or they're going to do stuff to his house. So he goes over the top, securing it all, and he finds out there's some spooky, maybe interdimensional neighbours are sort of trying to do something to him, and it goes sort of kind of weird and creepy from there. But it's it's a really good book. I recommend it, especially for like short horror stories like Stephen King's The Night Shift book or Books of Blood or anything like that.
Yeah. Wow, sounds very interesting. But you haven't really watched anything, did you say? Not really?
Well, last night I stuck on Nightmare Cinema. Have you heard of Nightmare Cinema?
Oh yeah, I've heard of it. It's on Shudder, right?
Yeah, so it's Mick Garris's joint. So Mick Garris, we did what's the one with the cat things, cat gents, not cat people. Sleepwalkers. We did the Mick Garris film Sleepwalkers. Mick Garris is a funny one because I don't always enjoy everything he puts together, but I really like him as a person.
He's got a pretty good podcast, right?
Yeah, he has. Yeah,
that's what really counts.
But he so it was like 12. It was like 11 o'clock. I'm normally asleep by that time anyway, but I just couldn't sleep, so I stuck it on. Nightmare Cinema. It's an anthology show. He's got, I think it's David Marshall, and some other people doing like short segments in this film, and I've only managed to watch the first segment before I was like, I need to go to sleep now because I'm just going to die. But the first segment was surprisingly good. So it starts off as a generic slasher. A woman is running away from a guy called the Welder, and she's running with blood all over her face. It's like, oh, the Welder, he's going to slash me up because he's a slasher character. That's what he's going to do. And she's running away, and then there's all the sort of the usuals there. There's the Chad guy. Do you call them Chads? I've heard someone call someone a Chad earlier.
Like a jock.
Yeah, that kind of guy.
Yeah.
Chad jockey guy. And then there's the nerdy friend who's become a policeman. It's all kind of very generic. I was like, oh, what's going on? Why is this so generic? And then there's a really funny twist, and some crazy like practical effects. It's quite kind of low budget, but it's got enough of a budget where you can let it off for what it's doing. But there's a really unique twist, and I finished that segment, and I was like, that was actually pretty great. So I'm really looking forward to watching the rest of the Nightmare Cinema later on today. But yeah, I'd recommend that if you got Shudder. Shudder.
Yeah,
I don't have to pronounce that now.
Shudder. Just pronounce it however you want to pronounce it, mate. I can understand you. So don't you worry, mate.
Shutter. Yeah.
Shut up. Shut up, you bastard.
But that's about it, man. That's about it. What about you?
So I watched. You might know something about this. A Hulu original film called Little Monsters. An
Okay.
Australian
Original.
zombie comedy starring Lupita Nyong'o, and then Josh Gad is in it as well, and then a guy called Alexander England. This was so good that like I just didn't expect it. I kind of like knew a few little bits about this, but it was so good. Like it almost reminded me of
I was not expecting you
humor.
to say that. I was very much expecting you to say it was so.
I loved it, man. It was heartwarming. It was genuinely funny throughout, and not just because there's like a cast of like kids, like not kindergarten, a bit older than that, probably like kids who are like between 6 and 8, and then this guy who's like a sort of washed up loser who goes on this school trip, and then Lupita Nyong'o who's like this perfect like vision of like a kindergarten teacher. I think it's kindergarten actually. Now I say it. Now I'm reading. Yeah, and it kicks out and it's so unique, like what they do, and it's not afraid to just go. This is probably what would happen in a zombie apocalypse. Like they're kid zombies. They're kids getting killed. Do you know what I mean? It's just like it's brutal, but it was funny. Like the cast was great, and I highly recommend it.
Okay.
It's set in Australia, and it is an Australian film as well. But it's just got this like humor to it, where like initially the lead character kind of comes across as a definite douchebag, but then you kind of like pretty much immediately warm to him. And
is this Josh Gad or is this?
No, this is Alexander England. Josh Gad plays a character. I won't tell you too much about it, but he's basically like Mr. Tumble.
Is that an English kids TV thing?
English kids TV presenter.
I know who you mean. Is he kind of creepy?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
It's kind of creepy. And Josh Gad is even more creepy in this. But yeah, I loved it. Like it's only like 90 minutes long, so it just felt like something to put on like on a Sunday evening. Just I've heard a bit about this. Yeah. And so far, almost everything I've sort of seen online, well, from on Twitter and stuff and film Twitter, everyone seems to pretty much love it as well. And it's been getting some.
I was not looking forward to checking that out at all, but now I am.
Yeah, well, the same thing. I kind of added it to my list, and then maybe 2 or 3 people I knew on Twitter I saw that they were watching it. Dan Butcher was one. He said I'm watching this and it's really great, and someone else said, "Oh, I'm really surprised by how good this is." So I thought I'd go for it.
Okay, I'll check that out.
Yeah, and pretty gory as well. Like it isn't one of those films where it goes, "Well, there's kids and zombies, so maybe we could be a bit silly with it." Yeah, it's pretty gory. You see some gruesome, yucky stuff.
Yucky stuff, good. By the way, I was looking at my films I'd seen this year and thinking we're coming towards the end of 2020. I don't know how many into 2019.
2020
already. That went quick. Into 2019, and I'm like, I don't think I've seen that many horror movies from 2019. And I did my letterbox and we organised it by year released.
Oh yeah.
There's not that many, but I swear there's stuff like Tigers Are Not Afraid. I think that maybe that got released last year or something, but in my radar it's only become available this year, so I kind of feel like that's a this year film, surely. But we're gonna have to start thinking about like best year end type stuff.
Well, we discussed it a little bit last week. Maybe we said something about what's your favorite horror of this week, and there's been some quite big sort of releases in terms of like tentpole horror, I guess, like It Chapter 2 and Doctor Sleep and Child's Play and Brightburn and some big Pet Sematary. Not saying that these are my favourite. I'm just saying there've been some pretty big releases. Top 10. I don't know if have I seen 10 new horrors this year? That sounds crazy for.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to do like new discoveries sort of thing.
Yeah, or a top 3 loads of shite. I talking to top 3 loads of shite. I did watch the new. Well, I say new. It's not like a franchise or a sequel or anything, but Doom Annihilation.
Oh yeah.
Which was weird because on the surface, like yes, crap. It's not like the performances are all really kind of awful.
Yeah.
The script is a kind of an abomination. But like there were some good things, like the sets were pretty good. The creatures designs were good, although I felt like there weren't enough creature designs.
Yeah.
But it was very, very hammy. There was some good CGI towards the end when there was like some hell sequences.
I mean,
apart from that, I felt a bit limited.
How's it going to hold up to the games in a minute? Because the games are just so good at being
exactly.
Doom.
Without being like a huge budget thing, but I did voice my displeasure in the film on Twitter, as I do with like almost all my films. I take this like film criticism stuff at least semi-seriously, you know.
Yeah.
So I've got to put a tweet out for every film and say like, I watched this and I wasn't really enjoying it. But the director of Doom Annihilation, Tom Giglio, he tweeted me. And he was very tactful and he was very conscientious. And he basically just corrected me on something, saying that even though I said that there were only 2 types of demons, he said there were 4, and he said he wanted more, but they were limited, and he thanked me for watching. So you know, I had to take my hat off to him for that, because even though he could have gone one of 2 directions, and
I like how he kind of factually corrected you, because I mean he could have gone at like your taste, like how did you not enjoy this film? But I mean that would be sort of. I mean, even still, I kind of feel like I just don't feel like maybe you shouldn't get involved if someone does badly review your film. But the fact
also, I mean, what I was gonna suggest is, finish your thought there.
Well, I was just gonna say he stuck to the factual side of it, so you can't really go too hard on him there. But go on.
I was gonna say, like, when it comes to obviously low budget, not big studio horror films, like, where do you stand on like openly criticizing something that clearly, you know, is a labor of love, or something that hasn't got like a massive studio back in, and that perhaps, you know, because I think you got to be honest, haven't you? And you've got to like put your opinion forward based on a film. Like I said, it wasn't so awful that it was unwatchable, but it was like it got to a point where I was like, this is awful.
I mean, it depends sort of how you sort of define your role in it all. But I kind of feel like the lower budget movies have got less and less chance to be seen. So it's kind of finding that balancing point, because you want to sway people to your correct opinion, but at the same time you want to get more eyes on stuff that may not get as easily seen or easily watched. So it's kind of like celebrating the craft and also being critical, because I think you can do both, and I think it takes a bit of sort of you have to be humble on both sides. If you get told that something's crap, or so you get like a critique, you've got to accept it. And if you get told that you get critique in your review, like maybe the facts aren't right, the numbers aren't right, Ben, 2 then you've got to take the critique. Man.
I think if you directly tag a creator who isn't like a massive name, say like if I tagged Steven Spielberg and said, Steve, your last film was a load of shite, I think that's fine.
If it's Steven Spielberg, the Spanish...
but Steven Spielberg, the Spanish, you know, he's doing all the minute, and I said his films were shite. I think by tagging that person in that, I'm probably being a bit passive aggressive and a bit unnecessarily, you know, mean, because you understand people are going to see these things. But then I went back to my original tweet and I thought, well, maybe I was a bit harsh. But you know, you know me, Luke. You know, I can't help it. You know, but if like something does, if I don't enjoy a film, I didn't waste my time sort of writing a massive review. I kind of just said 2 lines about I didn't enjoy it, and that the script made me want to be sick in my mouth. That's all I said.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But it was true. It was true. It wasn't like, again,
sick in your mouth.
I'm not in it. I'm not in any position. I'm not a filmmaker, so I'm not in any position to... I've got it going on right now.
It's a bit harsh.
So I did watch Doom Annihilation, and you know, if you're a fan of the games, it's definitely worth a watch.
Okay.
Because if you're a fan of the games...
Ben's new review. Worth a watch.
Yeah, but...
how do you feel about it? Do you feel like you need to change the way you do anything? I don't think you do.
Depend. I think maybe I'll try and be a bit more tactful when it's a film of this level at this budget. I tagged the film. I hashtagged the film, but I didn't tag any creators, or I didn't even tag in the official film Twitter. You know.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like I was
I'll look at the hashtags and see what people are saying. But even like the bad stuff, like I'll read it and say, okay, we'll change that, or try and do better, or talk to it, or Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it seems like both of you did all right. You couldn't have done much better.
Yeah, and I think if I received criticism for anything I'd made, I think I'd try and be as modest as possible. I don't think that I would ever go, "Oh, you're fucking wrong, mate." Maybe in private, I might go, "Have a look at this mug."
Yeah.
But
yeah, we do that. No, we don't. Okay, so have you seen anything else?
That's it.
Okay.
That is it this week.
Other
That's all I've
than the film of today, which was your
Yep.
pick, because we're doing a thing where you pick a film, then I pick a film. But I forgot about that
dang.
until this moment. Or did I? Today's film was picked by certain Benjamin Errington, a young listener from...
Yeah.
A young listener from Bristol, and he said, "I want to watch this film with Scarlett Johansson.
I bet
Takes
you
all
do.
her clothes off."
I don't know why I'm doing a northern accent if I just said I was from Bristol.
I want to watch this film, right, where Scarlett Johansson takes off all her clothes, and it's bloody lovely. Someone said it's a horror film. I said, talking a load of nonsense.
Okay, so that's what we need to talk about. But the film is called Under the Skin. Have you got some info on it? We'll start diving in.
Yeah. So, Under the Skin is a 2013 science fiction film directed and co-written by Jonathan Glazer, loosely based on the 2000 novel of the same name by Michel Faber. It stars Scarlett Johansson as an otherworldly woman who preys on men in Scotland. Yeah, that's it.
That's it. Okay, cool. So this is an interesting one because you've got Rotten Tomatoes say 85% critics, 55% audience. So there's a disparity there. 6.3 out of 10 on IMDb. So the audiences generally aren't too keen. Rotten Tomatoes say its message may prove elusive for some, but with absorbing imagery and a mesmerising performance from Scarlett Johansson, Under the Skin is a haunting viewing experience. So it seems like critics like it, audience don't. Well, some like it. I mean, have you seen this before? Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it before, and it's kind of like a bit of a lingery one with me. Always kind of like some of the visuals. I'm always like feel like I'm coming back to it. Going, that reminds me of Under the Skin. This reminds me of Under the Skin. That's a bit like Under the Skin. I felt like that when I watched Get Out.
Oh yeah,
there were some bits in Get Out where I was like, this is like Under the Skin. And then I read the book, which really, really expands on the mythology of this character and other characters and what the whole damn thing's about. So I feel like after you read the book and go back to watching the film again, it kind of gives you a whole new, even though the book is very, very different, it kind of gives you a whole new perspective on what the film could potentially mean.
More like a standard narrative, because I mean the film doesn't give you any answers in terms of. I mean, you can kind of tell what's kind of going on, and it's a very simple story really, but it doesn't give you anything other than that. Yeah,
there's more of a narrative. It's kind of set up as what she is, what she's doing, what her mission is, and the fact that there are others like her in the book, if I remember correctly. I'm pretty sure that's right. Been a while since I've read it, but yeah, a much more sort of definitive narrative, if I remember correctly. Okay. But yeah, both are good. Both are really good in their own right.
So I mean, this film is a strange one. It's incredibly naturalistic. They use a lot of hidden cameras and film people who didn't know they were being filmed.
Yeah.
They filmed lots of Scottish people as a creative choice to shoot as many Scottish people. There's a shot from inside of Greggs, which we've never seen captured on film before.
Yeah.
I saw in Scotland they sell macaroni cheese pies, which you don't get anywhere else.
Is that legit?
Yeah. It's like a macaroni cheese
in a pie.
Yeah. It's like imagine an egg custard looking shape, but it's pastry, normal pastry, not sweet pastry, full of macaroni and cheese.
You're carb loaded there, aren't you? That's double carbs.
That's for runners. Yeah, that's for runners the day before a marathon. I mean, so it's a really naturalistic score as well. It's like, and the shots are really long and engrossing and sort of they're no quick cuts, but it contrasts with the utterly surreal, I guess, kind of Lynchian at times, or obscure, grotesque Kubrickian, of course. Yeah. I mean, it's just, and there's bizarre elements that are just gonna sort of stick with you long after you've seen the film.
There are certain things in this film which do make my skin crawl. not just because of the vision, the visuals, but also just like certain things that happen, which are a bit like, oh Jesus, that's bloody brutal. That is.
Yeah, that guy's dancing.
Yeah, there's that. That guy's dancing. Yeah, there were some football fans. I can't remember who are they fans of. Hibs or something. I don't know.
They were in green shirts. Celtic.
Yeah, that's why I said Hibs. I don't think it was Celtic, but might be Hibs. I might be wrong. But yeah, football fans all walking towards a woman trying to make a left turn in a van. That got me on edge. I was like, out of bloody way!
Yeah.
But yeah, it does feel very almost like a documentary, doesn't it? Because people are being filmed and talking to Scarlett Johansson. Either they didn't recognise her, you'll never know. But I guess you wouldn't. Why would you expect Scarlett Johansson to be driving around in a white van in Scotland at night? You wouldn't.
With a cameraman.
With a cameraman, yeah, just
Pointing
going all right.
Face.
Fake taxi, fake van.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think Scarlett Johansson is really good in this to the point where I kind of forget it's Scarlett Johansson for long periods of time. I kind of remember and I go, oh yeah, Scarlett Johansson doing this, isn't it? I don't think her character arc is particularly great because I feel like she's portrayed as a certain character, then her character takes another direction, and I'm not entirely sure why. Do you know what I mean? I'm not.
Yeah.
It kind of just happens, and then we're kind of made to think.
Maybe we're going to, but maybe it's because of that guy. The guy with the deformity. That's the one she doesn't follow through with on the job. So maybe something to do with that. But I mean, we I don't know. We'll go into it a bit more. But yeah, the music's great. The
music. Music's super creepy, right?
Oh yeah. It's kind of like seductive and creepy. It's a weird little blend of stuff there.
Someone said this film is basically art house Species.
Yeah, it is. That's pretty much exactly it. We should do Species. Speaking of,
yeah.
This kind of film, it's one of those films where the director doesn't really care if you like the film or not. Like, he's making a very specific thing. He's got a very specific vision, and you're either going to be in tune with what he's making or you're just not. And I can appreciate a lot of what he's doing, but I can understand, like, I mean, going to watch this film because I've seen it before, I was kind of like hesitant because, like, I don't know if I want to, with the long shots and the sort of the slow pace, am I sort of in the right mood for this right now? But then when I watched it, I kind of couldn't look away for the entire thing. But it's a weird. I wouldn't recommend. It's hard to recommend to everyone.
Oh yeah, it's not like if someone went, well, what happens in this film? You kind of like, I mean,
how many shootouts are there?
How many bloody shootouts are there in this film? How many?
So director Jonathan Glazer directed Sexy Beast with Ray Winston and Ben Kingsley. Yeah, and he also directed. That was in 2000. He directed Sexy Beast, and then a film called Birth with Nicole Kidman, and I do kind of recognise the poster, but I don't think I've seen it.
And did that film Under the Skin.
And he did a film called Under the Skin, where he just went, Scarlett Johansson, how much full frontal nudity are you willing to do? And she goes, all of it, as long as I'm stood in front of a 2-bar fire, a lovely warm 2-bar fire.
Yeah,
that's. Did this right? Because essentially, this film is about, role reversal in terms of gender, in terms of kind of like making a woman preying on men or whatever. But it does kind of just make you think, fucking hell, give it a rest. Like to the men, you're a bit like, Jesus Christ, just don't go on, do they? In this film, does
it make it weird that they're the real people? This is how they talk.
Yeah, I mean, it is strange because some people seem like you must. It does really put you in the point of view of like a woman just on her own, essentially, and how certain men would interact with you. Some lovely, nice as pie, but a lot of people seem to have like, especially a particular character towards the end. I mean, this film kind of makes you hate men.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's like prank phone call shows where they take so much of it, like raw material, and they can edit it to sort of show whatever they want.
Of course, yeah. And I mean, it's I get that's what I'm supposed to be watching. You know, I'm supposed to be watching a film that portrays men in this way because we've got this like gender reversal thing where a woman is hunting men and men are being bastards, but then they get their comeuppance. Not all of them, obviously.
I mean, yeah, it's a bit harsh with comeuppance as well. It's kind of like some sort of creepy spider thing luring people, or like it's the what's it called story, isn't it? The what do they call it? Succubus story.
Oh yeah,
luring people into the sea, or whatever they do. But so the story is fairly simple. I don't know how much detail we can go into it. There's basically a motorbike riding around in the dark. These are long shots, kind of nice, cool shots actually. Just the motorbike going through the Scottish hills early morning, and he comes across a woman in the bushes. And he pulls her into the van. So I got confused because I wasn't too sure where are these like infinity rooms meant to be.
Yeah.
So like there's the white one, which is where Scarlett Johansson just like rips the clothes off this dead woman and puts them on as if she's like nothing but meat. Because this is her, she's at her most alien. And then there's also like the dark room, which I guess is in a little council flat thing. But are they kind of like rooms that exist on a spaceship somewhere, or some interdimensional thing, or are they just?
Yeah, I think you can kind of. It could be either of those things, really. I can't exactly remember what we get in the book, but in the film, you're kind of just made to think because there's like physics don't really work in these rooms either, so it's a bit strange. Yeah. And also, I feel like the people who are lured into these rooms don't act like people would act because
they're kind
if you
of seduced in hypnotized sort of thing. Yeah.
Because if you start walking forward and suddenly you start going down into the floor, you might be like, "What are you doing? What's going on here then?"
Yeah.
But the people just keep walking.
They say like my floor back home.
My floor is nothing like this. My floor, rock solid.
Yeah. Okay. And
yeah,
it's like there's also like all the abstract stuff at the start. It looks like a giant donut and like a big finger.
So
it's kind of just like a finger
a
and
massive finger.
You know.
So I think these are supposed to be like spaceship things, or sometimes we get some visuals with the red lights, which is like the conveyor belt of meat.
Yeah. I like that.
Going somewhere because there's I mean I won't mention the book much more, but there's a lot more stuff in the book to do with the fact that these are alien beings farming human meat.
Right. Okay. That sounds interesting. I would like to read the book. Okay, so then we get Scarlett Johansson. She does makeup and stuff, and she's in a white transit van, driving around Scotland, and we just get tons of footage of her trying to talk to people. Every time she talks to someone, she finds out they're waiting for someone or they're with other people. She carries on. Like I said, she makes a left turn through a football crowd. The first person I think she brings home. I can't remember.
Just a dude, like a dude who's like. She asked for directions to like a garage or something like that.
Yeah.
And he's trying to sort of give her directions. And so her thing is always, I mean, it's very again gender reversal because to see a woman sort of an attractive woman doing this to like younger blokes is a bit strange. Yeah. We obviously see this in mainstream, you know, serial killer movies and stuff. You know, someone driving around going, "Can you give me directions to here? Where are you walking there? Is it on the way? Get in, I'll give you a lift." That sort of thing, and then she kind of like seduces them from that because she's like got an English accent, right, in this?
Yeah, she puts on an English accent. Yeah, it's quite good.
Yeah. So she does that. She kind of like gets a bit flirty, and they're always a bit taken aback because they're like, "Bloody hell, you're gorgeous." I know they're Scottish. I ain't gonna attempt to do the bloody Scottish accent.
Yeah.
Scotland, bloody hell, you're fucking gorgeous, lads. See, it's terrible.
It's not bad.
Fucking gorgeous.
Yeah.
So she lures them back to this council house, dilapidated house. All the windows boarded up. You'd be like, "No one lives there. What are you doing, taking me in there to rape and murder me?" Which, you know, halfway there.
She does call it her place, but I think like even by that point they're kind of not thinking straight. Maybe it's the perfume. Maybe she's hypnolled them. Who knows? Yeah,
I think to be fair, I mean, I don't want to again make men out to be one trap mind, but I think if Scarlett Johansson is going follow me this way to wherever, I think you're kind of just going to roll the punches, aren't you? Follow me into this abattoir. Well,
What about that knife or that cleaver?
Just ignore that. It doesn't matter. Follow me into abattoir.
I like
Follow
how
me
Scarlett
down.
Johansson was doing like a proper northern accent for most of the film.
She's loving it. Follow me into this mine. It'll be lovely down there. Oh, okay. Yeah, I would. I mean, again, that might just be me. Maybe that makes me sound like an idiot, but I bloody would.
I think I'd stop at the point where the walls disappear.
Yeah, maybe.
My feet start sinking into the.
Yeah, but again, you're hypnotised by this moment. You've got
too
a
late at
one-trap
that point.
mind.
Yeah,
You're
too
thinking
late,
you're gonna get that sweet ass.
Yeah. So she did this weird thing where she's like walking away, and she does this kind of like it's kind of a seducey walk.
Shaky ass walk.
Yeah. And then the men walk, and then they don't even see that their feet are going deeper into the floor. And the music by this point is like really spooky. You can't look away at this point because
Yeah.
it's like the
creepy.
film just pulls you in. And then the guy suddenly is underneath, and he's completely disappeared underground. And then she turns around and just picks up his stuff and just like walks off as if it's nothing. The guy's been eaten by the
And
floor.
we see the guy in the floor like floating there, and he looks up, and you can see her walking along.
Yeah, I don't think we see
Glass
the
floor.
because there's another bit under the
Yeah.
floor. I don't think we see that just yet.
No.
But then there's the beach scene, which might be, I think,
Yeah.
the most horrific scene in the film.
There's loads of mad shit happening in this film. Like,
Yeah.
it takes me a while to realise what is actually going on, but it's mad.
So this film starts. She's on a beach, a cold beach, like Pebble Beach. There's like a border collie dog in the sea, like getting pulled out by the current. There's a woman.
How do you shoot this? That's what I'm.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I kept thinking that as well. There's a woman who is distressed, and she goes out to get the dog, and then she starts to get pulled out by the current. The dog disappears. We don't know what happens. It probably gets pulled under somewhere, and then she's really struggling. The dad runs in after her. Oh, by the way, at this point, there was a Icelandic swimmer, a Nordic swimmer guy, and Scarlett Johansson was working her magic on him at the time. But he's seeing the commotion. He runs over to help them because he's got the correct swimming attire. The dad is going after the mum. The mum's now disappeared under the waves, so the swimmer pulls the dad onto the beach, but he goes back in, and the swimmer's like, I mean, this is bad. It's something. He's exhausted, and then Scarlett Johansson picks up a rock and clobbers him. Like,
So she basically she's like, well, I'm not going to be able to seduce him back in my van now, so I'm going to have to do the honourable thing and just clobber him with a bloody rock. How that confused you'd be if you were that swimmer? They just saved someone's life, and you're like knackered, like, oh bloody hell, Jesus Christ! And suddenly the nice woman who's
now
talking to you like 2 minutes
praise.
ago was just now for the praise. She just clobbers you in the. Yeah, and obviously, what's weird is that there's a baby sat on the Pebble Beach who obviously belongs to the couple who've both gone out to sea. The baby obviously crying, absolutely completely left alone, but Scarlett Johansson just ignores the baby.
Yeah.
Drags the swimmer's body away. It's almost like she can't comprehend, well, obviously she doesn't, she's an alien, or whatever she is. She can't comprehend the
cruel
nature
of it, yeah. She takes ages to drag that body away, the swimmer's body, and then she finds the van, and there's that man, the motorbikist again, who he's like the cleanup crew.
Yeah. So he's basically Harvey Keitel, right?
Exactly, from the insurance adverts, yeah.
From the famous insurance advert. He might be in a film as well, but
yeah,
probably not.
He goes down to the beach, and it's getting dark now. The baby's been there crying for hours, and he just picks up like the swimmer's towel.
Tent.
Is it the tent?
It's tent.
Yeah.
It's got a tent. Yeah.
And he just leaves the baby there.
Ignores the baby.
Yeah, it's horrific. And later on,
I mean,
find out
that does really well. That does really well, just establishing the inhuman nature of both these characters. Like, it barely has to do anything to establish that, because we've obviously seen this weird stuff happening and then killing people, but that just we don't need either of those characters to say anything. They've established there what kind of characters they are.
Yeah. Later on, someone listens to like radio or the TV news thing, and they say that the family, the mum, dad, and baby are all missing, or the dad's been found. His body's like waterlogged. No idea where the baby is. So maybe the water took it. I don't know. I don't know. It's horrendous to think about, and it's horrendous to watch as well. You do feel kind of sick sort of like
Yeah.
watching something that you shouldn't
That
be
is
watching.
definitely one of the moments which does go like.
Earlier we said, is this a horror movie? That's the scene when I'm like, well, I think it must be, because
Yeah. I'll tell you what else makes me think this film's a horror movie, because after that, Scarlett Johansson goes on a night out in Scotland.
yeah,
Gets like
accosted. Yeah.
accosted by like a Hindu.
Yeah.
Ends up in like a pop world or something, just with like some bloke just like coming up to, I've got to buy you a drink, you're bloody beautiful, you are bloody beautiful, I've got to buy you a drink, you're gorgeous,
Wonder why he buys
and VK Ice.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Not
like a
Smirnoff
bubblegum
Ice.
flavour.
Yeah.
I like
Because
VK
you like
Ice.
that, don't you?
After if you drank a load of beer for most of the night, a VK Ice or a Smirnoff Ice is bloody beautiful.
It's bloody lovely. So yeah, she basically takes him home as well.
Yeah.
And he does a bit of dance. He does a bit of dance first, and he's like, "Yeah, I can't wait to get submerged in the black liquid. It's going to be top quality."
Yeah. But so he goes under. The same thing. He goes under. But then as he's under, he sees. And this is like, I don't know. It's a slow progression where he sees across the way is the Nordic swimmer guy. He's naked, and he's a bit like weathered, like his skin's a bit saggy.
Looks like a carrier bag.
Yeah. And they touch hands. You can sort of see his arms look a bit. I don't know how they filmed this. And then, I mean, what happens? Like the guy implodes. Like, or suddenly, all of his insides are just sucked out within seconds, and he is like a plastic carrier bag, but he's still got his face. It's horrible. Yeah,
it's like all the gunk and goo and fat in him just kind of gets sucked out in one fell swoop.
Yeah,
and he
makes that noise as well.
Floating around, he's like an empty sausage skin.
Yeah, it's kind of like a sort of a condom sort of thing going on with It's funny because it's the way it sort of flaps around quite naturally, and you see his face. And also, the other guy doesn't seem to be scared, but still not quite realizing where he is or what's going on.
Be like,
he just seems like yeah.
I thought I was gonna have sex with Scarlett Johansson, and now I'm underground with a condom.
You turned into a
again.
bag.
I don't know. Yeah. When I'm doing Northern, just imagine I'm doing Scottish. That's what I need you to do.
Yeah. Okay. Scottish. Okay. So that's
Scotland.
Yeah. I am brew. That's I can't do it. Okay.
Does this film remind you a bit of like Trainspotting in any way?
Scottish.
The way everything's kind of like rainy
Scottish
and washed out grey. And Scottish, yeah. I mean Scottish, yeah. But rainy, washed out grey.
Yeah.
Council estate.
I think there's a certain impression of Scotland, and films are very keen to sort of put that across. I don't know if this is essentially true. I mean, I'm sure there is obviously an element of truth to it. Scotland's lovely, especially in the summer.
Yeah, and you get posh Scottish people. So I don't know if you ever heard that accent.
That's like the Edinburgh
Scotland.
accent.
Hey, how's it going?
No,
like that.
That's not a real accent.
No, that was awful.
That's the scariest
It's
thing.
something like that.
Yeah.
Hello, how's it going? I'm from Scotland.
Get in the floor. Get in the floor.
Get in the floor. I'm going.
But it must be like the Edinburgh accent.
Limmy, the Scottish comedian, does like a lot of sketches about sort of posh,
okay, yeah,
like well-spoken like Scottish people. So yeah, probably Edinburgh and stuff like that.
So I guess after this point, she goes for her next meal, her next hunt, and it's the guy who's got like a gigant, what do you call it, elephantitis thing? Or something
so he's got like a pretty extreme facial disfigurement. I recognise this guy as well. I think he's been on some programs like on Channel 4, like about like body image and various things and stuff.
Yeah.
So I wonder how he got this gig. They've just been looking for someone with a facial disfigurement. But yeah, this is obviously again another way of establishing Scarlett Johansson's character, and you know what the length she'll go to is because
she's
obviously
really pushing to entice him, but he's not he's wary. He's just wary of everyone, obviously because of the life he's sort of had. But she's like really pushing, making him touch her face and stuff, and he just wants to go to Tesco, and he mentions that a few times. Bloody Tesco.
This doesn't look like Tesco. Yeah, because obviously, I mean, bless him, but he's obviously never been accosted by a woman in that way, and he finds it obviously quite strange, and especially the fact that it's Scarlett Johansson. Imagine that, you're just like, I'm just off at Tesco. Actually, I don't think he's Scottish, is it? He just goes, not that I was Scottish, but he just says, I'm off out to Tesco, and then the last thing he was going to expect was he was going to be accosted by Scarlett Johansson, and she proper fancies his hands. She's like, you got bloody lovely hands, you have. Let's have a look at them. Let's have a look at the fingers. Look at them cuticles. Yeah.
In the same way.
They're cute, those cuticles.
What else you could say? Fingernails and cuticles and fingertips.
Look at the wrinkles.
Look at them lines, these soul lines, your palms. Look
those
at them
fingerprints.
Ooh,
those
nice
fingerprints are
palms
unique.
Don't like to see you leave. I like to see you wave goodbye. Oh, look at them palms.
Go on, wave then. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so she takes him, but she lets him go. I can't remember, but not his clothes. She's like, I need to.
I need to keep your clothes. Yeah, so she takes him in there. He does go down into the black gunk, doesn't he?
Does he? I don't know if he does. I can't remember.
He walks into it a bit. I can't remember exactly.
Yeah.
But then she like lets him leave. But then this is the turn. This is the turn in this character that I'm not sure I understand. I don't feel like she was showing any humanity.
She was like robotic the day before.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe she's been doing it a long time. I mean, maybe it skips across.
I kind of felt like what was needed was something to have happened where she was a bit like maybe something with the baby where
you
she
know what?
realized...
There was the bit. So after the guy turns into a carrier bag under the floor, and then we see like a thing of like meat getting sucked up to like an escalator, and like tons of meat going up. But I guess that's like loads of people that she's done. And then there was a bit where there's like a montage, like a collage of red face stuff with her face. Maybe that was supposed to show like a montage of time or where she's done this thing over and over and over again. But I mean, maybe even if that's correct, I mean, it's still skipped over a little bit too quickly.
It felt a bit rushed. It felt like it needed maybe just one more plot point to just establish what she was thinking.
If one of them went, ow, she went, oh, what?
Ow, what? It's because she went from being like pretty talkative, pretty confident. I know it was all an act and it was everything, to being like silent, emotionless husk.
Yeah.
Well, not emotionless, but silent, down in the dumps. Oh bloody hell! What have I been doing all this time?
Yeah.
But yeah, so she lets the man go, but he gets intercepted by a motorcycle dude, doesn't he?
Yeah. So he like ventures home naked through the fields. I'm like, bloody hell, that must kill your feet. And just as he's getting home, he gets through the fence. The motorbike man, is there waiting for him. It shoves him in the boot of his car, drives off. The motorcycle man does see someone in the window looking at him, and he's just kind of like, what the fuck you
like an old woman.
Yeah.
Like an old woman. That's the thing with old women, and they're always up like at the crack of dawn, aren't they? Alarm set for 5 a.m. looking out the window, like nosing,
exactly.
Just keep your nose out, innit? This is a extraterrestrial.
This is what you get, Carla. This is what you
I've got a disfigured man in a boot. And I'm just trying to do my job, alright?
Just trying to do his job.
So yeah. And then she kind of she escapes, right? She goes on the run. She drives the van to some fog.
So she arrives at the fog.
She arrives at the fog and goes, I can't drive anymore. Got to get out.
Yeah. Because it's run out of petrol, I believe. Diesel, more likely. Anyway, she's basically just on the run, and she doesn't really know where she's going. She goes to a restaurant, orders a chocolate cake, and then she realises, you know what? She doesn't really like chocolate. She like coughs it up, sicks it up. Everyone's looking at her, and then she goes for a walk through a lovely little Scottish village, and where she starts really down. I think there's a guy trying to talk to her. There's the guy on the bus who's asking if she's alright, and the bus driver's like, why are you tailing, mate? Like, he's saying she's not interested in you, but she is sort of, because he says, you okay, do you need some help? He takes her to her house. I'm skipping over this very, very quickly, but at the same time the motorbikist is looking for her. Well, I mean, the guy looks nice. He makes some beans on toast. He puts some Tommy Cooper on for her.
Yeah.
I don't know, he seems wholesome, earthy.
He does seem like a nice guy, but she, like, how long can you kind of spend time with someone who's like completely silent and seems terrified? of everything and everyone. You know, that's kind of what she does.
Yeah.
And it is also that immediate change in her character kind of did make me feel a bit confused. You know, I mean, I know she wouldn't continue being the same and trying to seduce people because she doesn't need to now that she's taken the shackles off. But yeah, then they go for a little trip, don't they? Oh wait, no, I think actually there's a moment before where she's alone in the bedroom and she's looking at herself naked.
Yeah.
Examining herself from head to toe in front of a 2-bar fire.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the next day he takes her to a castle, takes her up the tower.
Yeah. And it's constantly raining and she's constantly soaking wet.
Yeah.
Like, just get a hood up, innit?
And then I think that's his courtship done. Then he's like, I don't know how to instigate sex. I can't remember how that sort of comes about.
I don't know. I can't remember what happened. I think they kiss first, and then they sort of start to have sex, and he's touching her, and then suddenly she like leaps up and forward, and has a look down below between her legs at her genitals, or lack of genitals. Like we don't know at this point, do we? We don't know whether she's got something down there, or whether she's basically like an action man or Barbie.
Yeah. The way I read it was that she was like a Barbie, but I might have read that wrong.
Yeah.
So she leaves.
Like Barbie, her leg 9 feet. She's good at leaving at this point, isn't she?
Yeah. She leaves, and then she's having a wander through some really lovely Scottish woods. There's a really creepy guy there. He was like, "Oh, you just out for a wander? Yeah, just out for a ramble? Yeah, oh, yeah, I'm a creepy guy. Oh, yeah, what?
Yeah, he's creepy. He's established as being a creepy guy immediately. Yeah. And I think, whoever this actor is has done pretty well of being a creepy guy. Maybe he's a creepy guy in real life. Yeah. Who knows? Yeah. But he kind of like, she doesn't say anything. He says, out for a wander, have fun then, yeah? It's a nice place to come and get your head together. See you later. And then she goes and sort of goes to this little, what's it called? Like a little building.
There's a name for it.
Shelter. Bothy,
yeah, something like that, yeah. And then she sort of wakes, she has a little nap there and wakes up, and he's trying to thingy her.
He's molesting her. Yeah. He's got his hand over it. He's got a high vis jacket on as well, so like
that's not what you want to wear as anyone doing any sort of crime. The high vis jacket. You're supposed to wear ninja black, obsidian black. But I mean, it's. I don't know. So, I like that it's kind of flips the dynamic that the sexual predator has become the sexual prey. I don't like it, but I mean, I understand. I understand the concept of it. So she starts running away. She hides some trees. The ending, because this is the ending in a second. The ending, I don't know. It comes like I don't know how I feel about the ending. I don't know if it really works completely for me. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I know what you mean. This guy, like, I dislike this guy. Obviously, he's attempting to rape her. He kind of like pulls all the clothes off and he's tearing at her skin and stuff. But like his actions, sort of at the end, are a bit like what?
Yeah.
A bit mad, aren't they? They're a bit like, geez. I mean, I know he's a horrible rapist, but just I don't know. The actions just seem a bit mad.
As soon as he sees that her skin is loose around the back, he's like, I've got a burner. I've just got a burner. Like maybe it's like a Lovecraftian sort of can't comprehend what's happening here, sort of must kill it with fire. But like I actually really like.
You saw someone's skin.
Yeah, her skin were a bit loose, burner. But like there's a bit I quite like. So it's Scarlett Johansson, and then her back's kind of the skin's coming away, and then like the way it's no longer Scarlett Johansson but like a alien creature wearing the skin of a person. It's really well done. So
she's like the alien creature with the features of Scarlett Johansson, like bold, but with the same face as Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah.
And then, even though she's like wearing Scarlett Johansson still has working eyes and can kind of like see, even though she's like a costume hanging off of her. She's like looking back up. They look at each other. Yeah, and then the horrible sex offender guy just douses her in fuel.
Within seconds.
And burns her alive within seconds.
Yeah. And she walks into the snow. By the way, when did it start snowing? Because maybe when she slept in the Buffy. Because it was like really snowing. Everyone was covered in snow.
That's what happens when you sleep in a Buffy. You wake up, it's been 6 months.
Yeah.
You go,
whoops.
Christ, cozy.
Yeah. Yeah, so she's just on fire at the end, and you just hear the sound of her like obsidian black skin crackling away, and also
you fancy some pork crackling when you heard that? You're like, oh, obsidian pork scratchings.
The motorbiker guy is like he's on a hill looking out, and I think he must know or can sense or something that she's dead or something's happened to her, because he just kind of turns and goes away.
He turns and he goes, "See you later."
Yes, I don't know, man. It's maybe I would have liked a different ending, but it does still stick with you, that ending. So who knows what to say? Yeah. Man, I've got some trivia.
Very nice.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Number 1. Oh, by the way, this is the name game. You know how it works.
Nice.
New listeners. Yep. We take the name convention, give it a spin, pitch Ben the new film, and he has to tell us what the new name of the film is. Okay. Number 1. ScarJo is an alien, but doesn't live on a 3-dimensional plane like the rest of us. She's as flat as a piece of paper. She goes missing, and when they do find her, they realise that she got stuck under the trash can. ScarJo in...
and under the bin.
Correct. Number 2. ScarJo is born with an identical sibling. She's fine with it and everything, but was never sure on the name. Her parents called him Gunther, but they pronounced their THs as Ds. ScarJo in...
Gunther the Twin.
Yeah. Standard trivia question here. How many minutes into the film is the first line of dialogue?
Oh. Let's say 13 minutes.
What? No way. How do you know that? It's exactly 13 minutes.
Oh, Jesus. I can't tell you, mate. What I was looking at then was the plot on Wikipedia, just trying to work out, when. And I just had a little guess, mate. I had a little guess. Sometimes you know these things, right? Yeah. Sometimes you're just at one with Scarlett Johansson.
Okay. And what was said?
Where? Excuse me. Do you know where the Asda is? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't even. I'm just asking you. Number 5. Question number 5. Back to the naming game. You ready?
Yep.
ScarJo gets a job at a local call centre. It's nice. She has a few friends. One's called Lynn. Anyway, they go out drinking one night and they challenge each other to a drinking competition. ScarJo drinks Lynn. Now, the following morning, she has to somehow vomit her back up before the boss finds out. ScarJo in...
Chunder the Lynn. Yeah?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
I'm getting a lot better at this.
Yeah, you are.
As time goes on.
You've been practicing.
As time goes on, mate.
Well done. Okay, mate. So we need to rate the film then. You did very well there, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, mate. I did, didn't I? That's probably the best I've ever done. Got the name games right. Got the minute question to the minute. I can't get any better now. I've reached my pinnacle. This is it. It's all downhill from here.
Yeah.
So I've always kind of really liked this film. As I said, I like the book as well, and I sort of held it in high regard. I do think it's quite Kubrick. I do think it's quite Lynchian.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got a lot of stuff going for it. Genuine horrifying moments, a nice atmospheric build, really nice soundtrack. Still got a few issues with it, mainly that character flip that kind of happens, and she goes off for essentially what is the third act. That third act kind of feels a bit meandering, aimlessly, but then I think it's got a nice exclamation point of an ending. But yeah, it's got a lot going for it. So I mean, you might think it's a bit over the top, but I'd probably give it an A.
That's really good. Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you said. By the way, last week, what did we do last week? Dr. Sleep, and you said I'd seen it, and about a week later, it rose to an A-. I think I'm the same. That film has gone to like an A- level for me. I just keep thinking about it and keep re-enjoying it in my mind. But for this film, which we're talking about in a minute, I was going to go with a B+, but again, I think that sounds a bit too low for how intentional the film is, how intentionally put together, well put together it is. I kind of feel like it deserves more than that, because it is a great film, but I don't know how I feel about that flip and the ending. I kind of feel like maybe, I don't know, maybe there's a different way to do the end, but is that how it ends in the book, by the way? Or
I really don't remember.
Okay.
I think it's got more to it in the book, spoilers. So I will probably need to. Yeah. Well, you could borrow the book. We'll do a nice little swapsy next week.
Cool. Yeah, we'll do. Okay. Yeah. So I'm gonna go with B+, but even that feels a little bit low.
Yeah, nice.
Okay.
Do you want to say what we're going to watch next week?
Wow. So I haven't thought about it yet until the start of this episode. I mean, I have got one in mind, like loaded in the shotgun, ready to shoot in your ears and face and that. But I don't know if I want to pull the trigger on this one just yet.
Okay.
But
are we going to do like?
Go on.
I think we need to agree. We're not going to just do films we like, are we? We're going to do films we want to see, or films, because I'm going to do films that I haven't seen as well. I mean, I guess you're going to do that too, yeah?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I don't want to do. I wouldn't want to just do a film because I want you to watch it. Oh, mate, you've got to see this film. I've seen it a million times already, but I want you to watch it as well. I don't think we should do that. It's a bit manic.
No. I don't know. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Okay.
Trying to do films that are kind of like may have been on the top 50 list, or kind of like, you know what I mean? Kind of have
I see what you mean.
a good variation.
That makes sense.
Yeah, let me look into it and I'll let you know later on tonight what I think.
Okay. Bloody lovely.
Okay.
Bloody lovely.
Right, you got anything else you want to share? I think it's not like you've done a crime, you're not told anyone. Got anything you want to tell us,
I haven't.
Ben?
But if I was going to do a crime, I'd do it in a high vis jacket.
Good. That way no one will suspect you. Okay, so become a patron over at patreon.com/Hawk and Cleaver. Thanks to Coverage Cameron for our theme music. Thanks to Acast for hosting the show. Thanks to the listeners and the people in the Facebook group. Facebook.com/groups/Horror Hangout Board of Advisors. Just search for Horror Hangout. I think it'll come up. And thanks to my co-host Ben for being a right dude.
Thank you very much, Luke. It's been an absolute pleasure as always.
Cool. See you in a bit. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.